Liquid transactions in ZooBC are a transaction type that we created to enable somebody to transfer funds over a period of time. So this is for a use case, say like a subscription model, where say I subscribe to a service, and you can imagine it, the reason we call it liquid is because in the moment that I start paying you for this service, money is gonna start trickling from me over to you, like this, over time. And eventually, either of us is allowed to stop the transaction at either time. Either you can say you're no longer my customer, or I can say I no longer want to be your customer. The transaction stops, and the amount that's moved up until that time when the transaction stops has already been guaranteed by the blockchain. The way that we accomplish this liquid transaction behavior is the person who sends the transaction originally configures some things like what's the total amount that they would want to spend if it goes through the entire cycle of the transaction, and over how much time this thing is actually going to take to transfer the money. Once this transaction is included in a block on the ZooBC blockchain, it's going to start counting this timer to start moving the funds between one account and the other, up until the time that one or the other party wants to stop paying this liquid transaction. Nothing really has happened, it's just keeping count of the time. But at that moment, when one person or the other decides to finish it, then the amount of the funds that need to be transferred from one party to the other are instantly transferred to their account like a normal transaction. This cannot be, say, canceled or unwound or undone in any other way. So from the time that you start paying the liquid transaction, you can't go back at a later time and say, no, I didn't really want to pay that money. Only when your cancellation or your end of the payment is actually accepted will it calculate the amount that you've actually spent in that time period and transfer it to the other party.